Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series.
Because creators are businesses.
What we do is not simple.
Give, the fans everything that they deserve.
Being creative
is like doing a 5,000 piece puzzle.
Is something that you can learn and do over and over again.
Always be as authentic as I can be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am thrilled today to have Ms. Whitney Bronson on here with me. She's the public relations specialist for the Connecticut Sun. I am thrilled because we're dipping into women's basketball. Whitney, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
Not only have you been with the Connecticut Sun, you have an incredibly impressive career of teams that you've worked with, of brands that you've worked with. I want to just, working with these powerhouse organizations across almost nearly every sport, from Warriors and Lakers to now the Connecticut Sun. When you look back, what moments or environments for you have really most shaped your voice as a communicator?
I would have to say it goes back to college. When I was at Henry University, I used to work in the radio station, and I did that for free, up until I worked my way up to a paid position. But I would literally go in there and help out with the newscast and write scripts and, help schedule people for the newscast. And then I would literally also work games for free. I would color commentate women's basketball, men's basketball, football, all that type of stuff, and be on the air. But I also learned how to do the behind the scenes and broadcast the games and stuff like that too. So I feel like that's just really where it started, and just teaching me, work ethic and just how to continue working hard until you get to your ultimate goal.
Yeah. Your early career too really blended journalism and PR. How do you think that dual experience changed the way you tell stories inside of a team setting today?
Yeah, I've kind of called PR journalism without the work to a certain extent, because we come up with the story ideas, we just don't write them, we just don't execute it necessarily. So I feel like it definitely has a lot of crossover. I was a journalism major originally and had some great experiences doing that, doing internships within journalism and stuff like that. And then I was kind of I don't know if I want to continue doing this. What's something that I could do that is similar, but not, that doesn't stray too far off from it. And I was like, oh, PR, I want to do PR for a team. So I feel a lot of times the ideas intersect, and journalists and PR people can come up with the similar ideas and stuff like that in order to be able to tell a story. But kind of how you were saying with communication, you have to learn how to talk to people and just figure out what their stories are and things of that nature in order to figure out, where the story is, or, what specific story we want to tell. So.
And while people might not know it, you've been behind so many storylines that fans read and players live. What was the turning point when you realized you wanted to really create the narrative and not just report on it?
That's a good question. Wow, that's kind of tough, because when you said that, I went back to my first WNBA story that I wrote for Beats by Dre, interviewing, amazing W stars, Nneka Ogwumike, Elizabeth Williams, etc. And I feel if I'm being honest, that was honestly, I feel my first one, because when I got that internship with Beats, I was they asked me what stories I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily something that, I was assigned or I was told to do. They let me come up with the ideas and then literally just help to mold it and help to craft it, which I'm appreciative of that to this day. I literally still talk to my mentor from that to this day. But yeah, I feel in all honesty, that's where it started, and being able to talk about them playing in the bubble and them speaking out about social justice issues and things of that nature. That's where I was oh my gosh, I want to continue doing this. And now I just kind of do it on the flip side, where a player can still have an amazing narrative or off the court um, activation that they're doing. And it's like, okay, I have to find somebody who would be interested in telling this story. So I feel like that's really the only difference, but it's similar. And again, in that I'm just like not writing it.
I was never the writer in my family. That's my sister. I'm like, I am the person who will talk. I am the person who will sit and ask questions, but I am not the writer. I'm like, I will happily pass that off to somebody else to take.
No, I feel like, I've always enjoyed writing, and sometimes I do wish that I could like delve back into that, but it's a lot of work, and sometimes you're having people, edit your writing and you not don't necessarily agree with the edits or like it, and that's kind of sort of part of the reason I wanted to get into PR because I was like, oh my gosh, like they're changing everything that I'm like putting on the paper, and I just like it's not that I can't take critique, it's just sometimes like you're changing the actual direction of the story or you're changing like what I was actually trying to portray. But no, I completely get it. And in like the podcast age and
Yeah.
YouTube era, that works out great for you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thrilled with it. I'm happy that, my style of writing, I say that with quotations, like it has worked out. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's all communication at the
yeah,
end of the day. You just choose to do it audio and visual rather
totally,
than putting it on paper.
totally, totally. What has surprised you the most about the pace, the emotional rhythm of working in the WNBA compared to your time in the NBA?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the WNBA in certain ways is more open. It's easier in certain ways to access players and things of that nature for stories. And at least thus far, like what I've encountered is like not a lot of players say no. Whereas NBA, like you can definitely tell with guys are just like
Yeah,
not feeling it and they just have a lot more I don't know if autonomy is the right word, but maybe more like bravado to like say no to doing certain things because they know that they can. But that's not to say that like W players are pushovers. Like, they're gonna speak up and they're gonna use their voice absolutely when they disagree with something or even when they definitely agree with something. But yeah, I would say like the openness is interesting and I can still tell that this is like a young league and
yeah,
there are certain processes that they're still kind of sort of trying to figure out where I feel like NBA is very like this is how we do things and this is how we're gonna like continue to do things unless there becomes an issue and then we'll change it type of thing. But yeah, I mean it's super young, less than 40, 50 years old. So it's like still kind of like trying to figure things out, while still being like very successful in what they have accomplished up to this point.
with your PR hat on, with media relations really truly evolving so rapidly, what do you think separates a good media moment from a memorable one in today's sports landscape? What sticks with people?
That's good. I feel like I feel like just authentic moments. It's tough because we're kind of moving away from the traditional
Yeah.
TV, radio, print media. Stud Buzz took over the whole season. Like it was kind of insane to watch and insane to witness. Like, if I'm being honest, that's their media platform
Yeah.
right there. Like, they didn't need reporters or anything to boost them up. Like, they just were themselves and they literally just caught on camera and just filmed themselves and that's it. So I feel like authenticity is something that's real and it's just something that people resonate with nowadays. I still am personally drawn to the stories of, like people no, I don't want to necessarily say like going through hardship, but like they're dealing with a lot, but they're continuing to persevere. Like I just read a story about Kirsten Bell in Anscape and how she lost her dad and how, that affected things going into this season, but she was able to lean on other WNBA players who also lost their fathers. And I was like, wow, like I just didn't know any of this. So like the print and other landscapes are still super important, I just think that at the end of the day, like being authentic and being real and just being relatable is what draws people in.
This may be really technical for some people, but really with your PR hat, like that hat on, how do you like to approach the balancing act between organizational tone with that authentic storytelling about these players in the community?
Yeah, and it's funny because that's like I want to try to get in more into player storytelling. I feel like there's differences between team PR and business PR. And in my career, I've mainly done business PR or corporate communications, have you? Um, but I also still have done like team communications. And I think that the interesting thing with team communications is it's a little bit more reactive because everybody's just coming to you for the stories. They're like, we want to talk to this person, we want to talk to that person, we're doing this story, we're doing that story. So there's not as much room to actually pitch these reporters and say, hey, like this person is, doing this off the court or doing that off the court. And we would love for you guys to do a story on that. Not saying that, it doesn't happen at all. I feel like it just happens a little bit less because also players have agencies and those agencies have PR people. But me personally, like I was super happy this season. One of our players, Olivia, she has a health and wellness brand that is also a fashion brand, and it relates to women's health, and that's something that's like personally affected me. So I was like, oh my god, like we need to get her to talk to somebody like right now. And we were able to like get a couple of interviews done like about her brand and stuff like that. So I feel like you just kind of have to find the ways to do it, and you can be creative in getting those stories told that way. But it also helps if you're working for an organization that emphasizes having the players in the community, like the Warriors. Oh my god, like I didn't realize that they were an anomaly until I left. So like most teams, like I should almost say all the teams are like not like the Warriors. Like every single community event that they do, they're getting paid to do, and that's why they can do it so much. So you're always seeing guys who are out there, whether it's at basketball clinics, whether it's at, not watch parties. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. But like whether they're at basketball clinics, whatever event that it is, like back to school shopping, stuff like that, like they're always going to be out in the community because that's what's important, like to that organization. So at that rate, it's like it's easy to get those hits to a certain extent because media want to come when a player is going to be there at the end of the day. So it was great working for them and just like being able to authentically like tell those stories and seeing the guys like put smiles on these kids' faces and like also seeing kids' faces who might not be able to, their parents might not be able to afford to come to a game, yet they're able to meet a player because of this community event. That's where it's like it really hits me because I'm like, wow, like this is an amazing impact that we're able to have like on the community. So yeah, I feel like it depends on the organization, obviously, but yeah, like some of it keeps it really separate. Like, and also because of working for a WNBA team, there's a lot of crossover between business and basketball. Like, it's still separate, but like in the position I'm in, I'm still able to like touch both. So, whereas with the Warriors, it was like I was strictly business PR, but because we had so many players do our community events, like I was still able to like
Yeah.
touch in that sense. So, but like still I'm doing press releases and still trying to get coverage even outside of like players being there. So there's still like, I think that people are still interested at the end of the day because of the Warriors and because of their brand. And like kind of here at Connecticut, it is a little bit more difficult because we're in Yukon country, but like we're still making an impact in the community. And now, like here, I'm a little bit more back into the writing and writing stuff for the website and still letting people know that we're out in the community, we're out doing these amazing things. So it can get like very technical, and there's a lot of like differences between the team PR and like the business PR. But at the end of the day, like it's still all like intersex.
Yeah, a lot of nuances to it is what it's.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like so bad because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm talking too much.
No, no, it
But
paints a
literally,
great
it's
picture
so
'cause
hard to,
it
it's
paints
hard to
a great
explain.
picture. Yeah, it paints a great picture because I'm sitting here, I'm like, even as you're talking about UConn, I'm like, well, does UConn and Connecticut Sun ever mix together? Are there things there that you guys do together with them since you are in UConn country? Like all of these different things are running through my mind as well that come with all
Hmm.
those nuances and with all these team aspects.
So no, and I actually don't know if this is a rule in the WNBA the way it is in the NBA. I think it is though. But like we can't do anything with colleges. So like in the NBA, like you can't they consider it tampering and you can lose
Exactly.
draft picks and all that type of stuff. I would love to say that it's the same in the WNBA. I'm pretty sure it is. But back to the nuance, literally like a third of our team slash organization went to UConn. Jen Rosati, Morgan Tuck, Aaliyah Edwards, Olivia Nelson Adona,
Yes.
Tina Charles, like Bria Hartley, like half of our
Everybody.
organization went to UConn, yet we can't
Do it.
like do anything with them, which is just honestly like hilarious. But yeah, it's it like I don't know. It's kind of like it sucks, but it makes sense at the same time. Just because you don't want to encourage, tampering, cheating, what have you, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. But I feel there's like definitely still ways to work with colleges and universities, like without doing stuff like that. Like going back to the Warriors again, we were able to do some great activations with Howard University um, for Martin Luther King Day when they were playing Morehouse College the year after we won the championship. This was 2022. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm sorry. This actually was MLK Day 2023. And we were able to do some amazing things, just keeping it on like, the community side more than anything else, and having students come to our game and, meet reporters since they were specifically like journalism students, so they could network and ask them about their experiences and learn what it's like to actually be a reporter like for these teams. And then we were actually able to get some of our guys to, like go to the Howard and Morehouse basketball game that took place after their game. Like the fact that they played a full game and we were able to get what, like five or six NBA players who just played like a full regulation game to go to an HBCU game when like HBCUs are popping. As an alum, like I'm a little biased, like HBCUs are popping, but still not necessarily like mainstream, I guess you could say. But the fact that they still went and they like stayed for the whole game, like that really meant something to me because like for me to be able to ideate an activation like that and be able to execute it from start to finish, and that was only my second season with the Warriors. Like that was an amazing experience and shows that you can still do things with colleges. You just have to be strategic about what it is that you're doing and how you're approaching it.
And while we've been talking about the WNBA, like they have long been at the front, at the forefront, as we've really seen this year as well, of athlete activism and making sure there's representation across the board. How do you see your role in PR as part of that, amplifying those values through, communication strategies?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of tough because that would honestly probably be a little bit more of like a team side
Yeah.
PR type of thing. And again, like I said, I feel like team comms in general can be a little bit more reactive in that space. I think that just like, if there's anything that a player like needs from us, like we're gonna try to do it at the end of the day. So if there's like somebody that they want to try to talk to, whether it's media or something like that, and they come to us and ask us for it, like we're gonna try to set them up for success, like in the best way that we possibly can. where we can also, even if we're not the ones doing the specific pitching, we could work with the agents and see what the agents think about that idea, and then they can take it and run with it. Because oftentimes people might not respond to us, but if you say you're from Clutch, like they're probably going to respond to you. So, yeah, I think that just being supportive at the end of the day, um, because as far as like a specific calm strategy, like it's hard because we can't really do anything. We can't really do anything or say anything until the CBA is actually like, you know, in print and writing. So it's just we're honestly I feel like all the teams like we're kind of just in a tough spot right now. Because even as far as like promoting players on certain things, like can we even bring this player in to do content because the CBA isn't done, like stuff like that.
And you've really worked in some environments that celebrate women's sports and women being in sports. And in those where they're still catching up. We're still seeing some spaces where we're working to get more representation there. How have you seen visibility and opportunity for women in sports media change in real time? And
Mhm.
you've been in this for quite some time.
I think that, I mean, as much as I like hate to say it, but even just like men watching more like helps. But what brings me like personal joy that I love to see, there's actually been like a huge influx of youth boys watching women's basketball and stuff like that and being fans of Paige Beckers and, being fans of whoever. And I think that that is like going to be the future because you have to be able to tap into different markets and different like just different people at the end of the day. So yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, like the funny thing too is like the women, we haven't done anything differently. Women's basketball hasn't necessarily changed. It hasn't gotten flashier or like it hasn't gotten that much crazier. They're still being who they are, playing a great technical game of basketball, playing hard, and being their amazing selves. Like women don't have to dunk in order to get views at the end of the day. I think it's like the storylines from whether it's on the court or off the court drama that like drive it at the end of the day. And I just hope that like the league continues to capitalize on it. Like you have to market these players. Like Asia Wilson is going on an insane press run right now. And I'm just like obsessed with it. And I'm being honest. Like she just spoke at Nike headquarters. She did the J Hud show. She was
Oh
on
my
Good Morning
gosh.
America. I'm
Her
like,
dancing in the spirit tunnel yesterday.
I'm just like, your team at Clutch is doing an amazing job. And it's like, it needs to be not only Clutch, like the league needs to continue to capitalize on it. The Aces need to continue to capitalize on it. Although again, I'm like, she's also under her contract is about to be up. So it's also like, ooh, that's a little bit tricky. But yeah, like just support as much as you can behind the scenes. And I feel like the audience is going to come, and they have honestly come. And I think that it's only going to get better. They had record viewership numbers this season. And it's like, I feel like it's only going to keep going up, especially as teams continue to get added to the league.
Now, you have, when I say you've done quite a lot, you have done everything from editorial writing at Forbes and Beats by Dre to corporate storytelling for pro teams. How do you personally like to keep your creative spark alive when, work becomes really so process driven?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. I feel like I wish that I had like they say when you work in sports, you don't have work-life balance. And it's in part true. You have the work-life balance a little bit more in the off season, but like, I feel like during the off season is kind of the time where you get to brainstorm and just try to like come up with different ideas and stuff like that. Because it is hard for me to like sit down and actually try to come up with an idea. Like a lot of times like things will just like hit me, or somebody will like say something and it'll spark, and then I'll be like, oh my gosh, like we could do this, we could do that, da, 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 da. But I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, sometimes the creativeness will come when you like have to turn your mind off and like do other things and think of things outside of work. Like I don't necessarily try to be that person where it's like I'm thinking of work on the weekends. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I am watching my trashy TV like when I'm not at work and or reading a book. I'm trying to get back more into like reading and stuff like that. And I feel like that's the stuff that, can still help, but while also still keeping an eye on everything. But yeah, I feel like those are just like the things that help. But also just having like having conversations with my peers, um, having like random conversations with, players if at the appropriate moments and stuff like that, or even like I've been thankful to have the opportunity to talk to like our GM here. Like I've never been able to talk to a GM at another sports team. That's what I mean when I say the WNBA is like more open. But just having like casual conversations, and sometimes it'll spark an idea.
I I've been in social media for almost 10 years now. I love when I'm doing my doom scrolling. I confess I do doom scrolling all the time, just like a lot of people do. But I love when I come across a video and it might be like, I love this song. And then you come across something else and you're like, okay, I like the technique. I like how they did this. It's funny the things that you pick up to once you're out and about and kind of doing that scrolling, you're quickly picking up on things that you like that you're not necessarily copying, but you're like, okay, I like these different things that people are doing, because
Mhm.
that then gets the wheels turning, it gets you inspired, it gets you thinking about things in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely can like find inspiration from other teams and other people who are, just like within your um kind of like position or realm. Like a piece of advice that was given to me was to reach out to other people who were coordinators at other teams when I was first starting out. And I feel like that helped me to like gain perspective on what other people in my position are doing and how their day-to-day goes, and like what type of things are they doing and coming up with. So yeah, like you can honestly draw inspiration from literally anywhere, and I definitely appreciate that. Like the WNBA to me, it has some of like the most creative people and some of the most creative individuals that are like behind the content, behind the marketing and things of that nature.
In an industry truly built on relationships, what's the most important lesson you've learned about earning and keeping trust?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I just like go back to the Warriors again, and like my boss there, he just like really emphasized hard work, and like if you work hard and be helpful, like people are going to take note of that. People are going to appreciate that. Some people might not appreciate that, but the people who do appreciate it are going to, take note of that, and they're going to remember it at the end of the day. um I think that like definitely also just like not burning bridges is super important, and just trying to, you're not going to like everybody that you work with, but just trying to maintain like a sense of cordialness, and just, a sense of like, I'm here to do my job, you're here to do yours. Like we're just going to collaborate when we need to, and then not collaborate when we don't need to, like to a certain extent. So yeah, I think that like doing at the end of the day, as long as you like do your due diligence and get your job done, I think that that's what's going to matter most. Like I would rather, you know people be like, oh, she was quiet but she got her work done, than like, oh my god, like she never got anything done on time, like she never did this, she never did that. Like I would just rather it be like, oh, she might have kept to herself, but she did do what she needed to do. So,
I think it's big too, and I think I've been lucky enough. I've gotten to talk to a lot of social media managers across leagues that you asked the question too about trust, and it really comes down to, you know, that trust with the players as well. How do you get them to do all your trending videos, to be able to be part of some of these things with you? It's interesting to think about from your perspective and your PR seat how they kind of interact and work with you and pull those stories from them, how you make them feel comfortable as well.
Yeah, I think that one is also just about communication and being very clear in like what they are and are not like going to do, and also just like listening to them. And I always say that like I just try to talk to them as humans because that's who they are. Like I feel as if definitely some people can, like put them on pedestals and things of that nature, and I get it, but I'm also just like, yeah, like I mean, not to like make this sound crazy, but it's like LeBron James, he's from Ohio, just like me. Like I'm like literally he's spoken to me like as a regular human being, and I've spoken to him back as a regular human being. It's kind of yeah, like whenever a player has an interview or something like that, I'm always making sure that I have all my ducks in a row so I can just tell them this is who you're interviewing with, this is the topic of the interview, and we just need you to mention this partner in your answer, and then we're good. So like just having all of your ducks in a row and making sure that they clearly know everything that they're doing, not overloading them with too much information, and like having accurate timing and information, I think helps to like build that trust because after that, like sometimes they might come to you, what am I doing again? And it's like, oop, you're doing this, this, and this. And then it's like, okay. So yeah, I feel like just that. And still, like, sometimes you can have like a little casual conversation with them. Like, I've had to escort guys at media days and stuff like that. And, just like, okay, like, what do you plan on doing this off season? Or, or how was your off season? What'd you do? Like, just that type of stuff. Just, like, almost like we're back at school. Like, oh, how was your summer? Like, that type of thing. So, yeah, I'm just like, I try to like I don't even want to necessarily say play it cool, but it's like this is somebody who like literally reminds me of my brother or something like that, like I'm just gonna talk to you like, you're part of the fam.
Yeah. You've built a career centered around helping others tell their stories. If someone were writing your story, what headline would you want it to have?
Oh my gosh.
Way
That's
put you on
crazy.
the spot.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I don't know if I can come up with like a specific headline, but I would probably say something along the lines of just like I'm just a woman in sports who tried to make an impact at the end of the day. Like I just tried to, tell people stories and, you know, just like get get the stories out there so like people can read them, people can be impacted by them, people, can be like, huh, like I didn't know that about this person, or like this is super interesting. Like that's just like the type of things that, I would like to be remembered for. So I guess I don't know, maybe something along the lines of like, I don't know, women in sports makes an impact.
Oh,
Like that's a terrible headline, but it's like it's fine. Just we can build off of that.
we can judge, we can do some things with, but no, but it gets
Yes.
the point across, and I think what you've truly gotten to do and the impact that you have made and the things that you're going to continue to do, I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible, and it is going to be incredible, Whitney. It truly is.
No, I really appreciate it. And truly, like it's not even just like working for a team or on the court, like even just off the court, like I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how people keep finding like my email. It's fine, but like literally students reach out all the time and they're just like, oh, like I have a project and I have to, talk to somebody who's, in sports or talk to somebody who's like doing a career that I'm interested in. Like, can I please just like have a few minutes every time? And I'm like, yeah, like what do you mean? Like, of course. So it's just even like helping other people like outside of doing team stuff. I feel like is super important too, because sports is such a small industry and it's like really hard to break into. And like, I definitely had to work extremely hard and literally like figure it out by myself because people, I just distinctly remember people were like, how did you get the internship with the 49ers? I just applied for it. I don't, I didn't know anybody at that team. I didn't know anybody at that organization. I really don't know what to tell you. Like, I applied, they must have liked my resume, and like, it literally just like took off from there. So it's like anything that I can do to just like help guide the next generation also, because I mean, we're all going to be in, the leadership roles and stuff in the future. I think is also like where I would like to make an impact.
Love it. Whitney, I cannot thank you enough for sitting down with me and sharing your story and more about your career with me. I so appreciate it.
No, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for reaching out. And I just hope that everything makes sense.
Yes, no, made total sense. I got it. Made total sense. You guys, all of Whitney's socials are going to be linked down below. Please go give her a follow. Go stay in tune with everything she's doing and what the Connecticut Sun is up to. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.